Hi, it's Chris Howard from Lace Partners here, and I'm joined today by Emma Leonis, who is our Executive Director for the HR Transformation Team.
Hi,
Hello,
Chris.
Emma.
Hi.
Hello. We wanted to have a quick chat today about HR on the Offensive, which is our white paper, which was released in 2019. It's broken down into 6 sections, and specifically I wanted to focus on one section today, which is the service offering section. And I love the title of it, which is Are We the Jack of All Trades? So could you just give me a little bit of an overview as to, well, I guess, that particular area itself and some of the key sort of elements of of that section?
Yeah, sure, of course. So I guess what we wanted to really understand was, are we trying to be all things to all people as an HR function, in terms of the fact that we obviously want to make sure we're giving employees the best support possible? Or do we really know actually what the priority areas need to be? And is it other things that are inhibiting us sometimes from perhaps delivering those as effectively as we want to or as quickly as we want to? So to start with, before we even explored that, we actually asked a few questions just to get the context of some of the organisations that we spoke to. So particularly to understand what the business's priorities were. Because if you understand the business priorities, therefore, as an HR function and people function, we should be looking to align ourselves to deliver those. So it's probably not unsurprising that a number of different priorities came up. And it's interesting when you think about, therefore, how do you deliver all of those? So you've got to balance cost with effectiveness, with employee experience, maybe thinking about attracting talent, retaining talent, developing talent, at the same time as then also making sure that you're delivering services as efficiently as possible. So how do you do all of those things and do that effectively?
You can't pick everything, can you?
No, exactly, which is therefore the question, are we trying to be the jack of all trades and trying to do all things for all people?
So I mean, it is fascinating, and I think people do get, and organisations, and not just HR teams, but organisations do get so focused, we've got a long list of all the strategic objectives that we have. Where do we even start? And that's a big challenge for HR teams as well, specifically. So it is. I mean, what was interesting though was it's sort of a leading question in some ways that we put on the title, and deliberately so trying to be provocative. Actually, what we found was that HR organisations are not actually trying to do too much for too many, i.e., they don't understand what the priorities are. They do, but it's also, are we making sure that we are being very clear on, if these are our 7 priorities, these are the 3 that we can deliver right now within these timescales, within these constraints. These are the 3 that will have to wait, and then 1 might even have to wait even longer. So how do you prioritise, how do you resource them, and how do you make sure that you measure success, importantly, as well? So I mean, obviously we don't want to just recite the whole of the report, we want you to actually download the report, but just give us a couple of those snippets. I guess one of them, as you've just mentioned, is how do you prioritise? Is there anything else that you'd like people to just kind of take away?
So the prioritisation bit's really important. I think linked to that, it's very much making sure that if you haven't yet got a really clearly defined people strategy, that you develop one, and that you constantly make sure that it's relevant. Because business context never stays constant, therefore the people context will never stay constant. So what was relevant maybe last year might not be as relevant this year, and therefore you need to flex your priorities dependent on the business needs. So have your plan, have your prioritised initiatives based on that plan, and then also make sure that you understand what success looks like. Because if you can't demonstrate value to the business, what's the point in doing any of those things that you set out to do? But equally, my last tip probably would be maybe say no sometimes. One of the things that we're probably all guilty of actually is that we want to do so much to do the best job that we can.
It's difficult as well, isn't it? So it's difficult to just be able to say sometimes.
It is, exactly, because you want to help, but actually that might not be my responsibility to fix or the function's responsibility to fix. Maybe it's actually line manager's duty to deal with that noise in that particular business unit, or the business exec's responsibility. But as HR, we try to do all the things that we can to support, but we perhaps need to be a little bit more pointy elbowed and say no, perhaps a bit more, which is a mindset shift. And we do talk about that as well in the report later on.
And I think we will do, actually. We're going to do a couple of these videos just to talk about that sort of stuff. But if you'd like to download it yourself, you can do so at lacepartners.co.uk/HROTO. Can't say that one too quickly. But thank you very much, Emma. It's been great talking to you.
No, thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Thanks.